So let's move on to the Orange Bowl. Kyler Murray's Sooners are a 14-point underdog tomorrow against Alabama. The Heisman Trophy winner has led the Sooners to the playoff, but the QB has options for his future. He was drafted in the first round of last year's Major League Baseball draft, and his agent, Scott Forrest, said yesterday, quote, he's going to be at spring training with the Oakland A's on February 10th. Kyler said yesterday that it's never bad to have options, then added more about his potential NFL career. Let's take a listen.
I've always felt like I could play in the NFL. I mean, I'm a confident guy. There's not a lot of short quarterbacks in the league, but, I think there's more guys paving the way for, the transition of, not really caring how big you are, how tall you are. But for me, yeah, I've played this game my whole life, and I've always felt like I could do it.
Joined by Fox College football analyst Joel Klatt. Joel, it's good to have you back.
Good to be back, yeah.
So it's great to have you here for this one because you played college football.
Yep.
You played minor league baseball.
Yep.
So
for how long, by the way? Just
2.5 seasons.
2.5 seasons, and it came at what point in your?
I was right out of high school, was drafted, played 2.5 seasons, and then I actually left, quit, and went back and went to school after that.
Okay, and you were drafted how high?
I was an 11th round draft pick,
okay.
So certainly not to the level that Kyler is as far as the money and the monetary means that he would get, or even the opportunities he would get within the organization. Because remember now, the A's are highly incentivized to get him to the big leagues and quickly. The problem for Kyler is right now his decision in the short term might be a little bit backwards from what everyone's thinking. Everyone's thinking like, hey, the money in baseball is better. You got to go take the money right away in baseball. But actually, the short term, football would actually be better money, and it would be quicker money, and it would probably be about double what he would make playing baseball in the next 4 years if he were to go and get himself into the first round of the NFL draft. The big thing for me with Kyler Murray, however, is the fact that I think his decision needs to hinge on how he plays tomorrow. I know that sounds crazy, and it's just
I do not think it's crazy. I'm with you.
Here's the thing. He doesn't have a body of work like Baker had last year. Remember, Baker had completed over 1,000 passes in his career, over 130 touchdowns. We had seen him against Ohio State on the road. He was undefeated against ranked teams on the road. We saw him with a huge body of work, and we knew what he was even before he played Georgia. And so he could overcome some of those things like his height, the air raid system, so on and so forth, and he's gone on and done great with Cleveland. For Kyler Murray, he doesn't have that big body of work. Guys, he's only completed a hair over 300 passes in his college career. He's only started for one season. We haven't seen him play a great defense yet in his career. So I think it hinges.
And by the way, I still don't know what happened at Texas A&M. Like, that's the weirdest thing to me. How do you let a Heisman? I don't know, but go ahead.
Very strange. You're right. That could be a whole other segment. But I do think that if he plays well, and I'm not saying that they have to win. I'm just saying that if he plays well, I think he can get himself into the first round. If you can get yourself into the first round, Lamar Jackson's contract last year was $9.5 million. Now, that's not fully guaranteed. You can be released in the last year of your rookie deal, but Paxton Lynch is the only one of recent vintage that we have seen not get to the end of his rookie contract being a first-round quarterback. $9.5 million versus the $4.6 that he signed with the A's. Here's why baseball is not the monetary incentive that you might think. If he gets the $4.6 million for signing with baseball, that only takes him up until he gets to his arbitration years in the big leagues. If he's aggressive, gets to the big leagues in 1.5 seasons, he would still have to play for 3 more seasons before he even got to arbitration, which means he's making under $700,000 a year for all of his big league years until 4 or 5 years from now. To me, I think financially the better move is play well tomorrow in the Orange Bowl, get into the first round, and then go to the NFL.
Interesting.
And be done with baseball.
Be done with baseball.
Wow.
For me, I get what he's saying. He said there are guys, and what he's talking about, guys have paved the way. He's talking about a Drew Brees. He's talking about a Russell Wilson.
Height-wise.
Yeah. He's talking about Baker Mayfield, as you mentioned, who just got into the NFL. But at some point in time, 5'9" guys just can't do it. I mean, you talk about, well, he got 100. They're not letting a 5'7" pitcher on the mound. I mean, no matter how, there are more Jose Altuves and Dustin Pedroias in the MLB than they are in football.
Sure.
And that's what he will be. Those are anomalies. Russell Wilson and Drew Brees are anomalies at that position. And prior to, say, the last, since Drew Brees, we had never seen a quarterback have success under 6 feet. That's what everybody...
He would be the littlest success story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Generously listed at 5'10", by the way, generously.
It's generous.
Okay.
Jenny,
what do you think?
I've interviewed him plenty. I mean, I'm 5'9.5". And we're pretty...
He had Jenny interview him out there on her bare feet, had her heels in her hands.
I put him on a box?
Yeah, put him on the album. That's what I'm saying.
I think it is a generous.
Okay.
But he doesn't play that way. He plays with the confidence he describes. I don't think height has ever been something
but I think most guys play with a lot of confidence. You know, you got to get to that next level.
Sure,
you got to have that confidence. But at what point does 5'9", I mean, he's still 5'9".
I get it.
And I get these wide open offenses. So, but we'll see. I agree with you. We'll see tomorrow, because this is probably the closest he's seen to an NFL-style defense.
No doubt.
With the way they play, the coverages, the calls that he's going to hear. So this is as close as he's going to be. But here's the thing, and I get it. In his first 4 years, he can make a lot of money. But normally, once you start getting to, say, like age 30 in the NFL, they start decreasing pay. Bryce Harper turned down $300 million.
It's the exact opposite.
I don't know the football player that's turning down $300 million. I don't know the football player turning down $200 million, Skip.
There's never been an NFL player make $300 million in his career.
Peyton Manning is the most at about at $250 million. Think about it, McCutchen. He had his worst season, hit like 240.
Yeah.
He got 2 years at $32 million. They're not giving you that in the NFL.
Now, you got to get there, though.
He paid a lot of dues to get to that
You got to get there.
But here's the thing. Pittsburgh paid him. San Fran gave him some money.
Yeah.
So it's not like he just all of a sudden said, you know what, at 32. No, Andrew McCutchen made money along the way. Look at these contracts. Look at Giancarlo Stanton. A-Rod made $400 million.
Yeah.
You ain't making $400 million. I don't care how good he is.
A quick stat on just, you're talking about lifetime money now, and that's a different conversation. I'm talking about in the short term, the NFL is actually the bigger financial windfall for Kyler Murray. In the life of an MLB baseball player, you're much more likely to make $100 million in your career. In fact, there's well over 100 players in the history of baseball that have made over $100 million in their career. There's only 29 in the history of the NFL that have made over $100 million in the National Football League, and nobody has topped $300 million. Obviously, A-Rod's gone north of $450 million. So career-wise, you're absolutely right in the long term.
Okay, point of order. Kyler, as much as I love him as a football player, his college baseball stats do not scream star.
Okay.
Surefire star. You know, like Hall of Fame production, where you just say, that kid's...
He's not batting .350 with 25 homers.
He's not. But Billy Beane's a shrewd operator, and he is betting on the come. He is seeing the speed. He's got power for little man size. He's got that short, powerful pop stroke.
Yep.
But... now we're back to the old cliche, money can't buy happiness. I still believe Kyler will be much happier playing football than baseball. Football's more fun to play in bursts.
You're right.
Like the game day Saturday for him is just everything, and game day Sundays would be, they're just special. You know how it is. It's just
100%.
You can't. You can't ever.
Baseball crowd does not like football crowds.
You like playing football more?
I've loved football my entire life. I was a better baseball player, which is why I played it out of high school. But every single night when I went to the park or went to 3 o'clock BP, I would yearn for a football game. I would yearn for the lights of a football game.
That's fascinating. Kyler Murray can be as good as Russell Wilson. He's shorter than Russell Wilson, which is scarier than anything we've talked about.
Yeah, right.
But Kyler Murray plays with what I call athletic dignity, like serenity, arrogance, if you will, athletic arrogance. His body language is so confident, albeit against Big 12 defenses for the most part, but he just looks like he believes with all his heart and soul that he was born to do this. And you're going to see him. He will not be scared against Alabama.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, he will operate just the way he operated against Army or whoever else that you want to say, against Lane Kiffin's team in the opener. He'll just operate the same way because he believes, because his father played college football, that he was just born to do this. And that's what I love about him, which is why I would encourage him to play football, because I believe it'll make him shorter term happier. To your point, you're right. And you went through the wars that are the NFL, and you know what it did to your body.
Yeah.
And it will do the same thing to his body if, in fact, he becomes a starting
Hip pops,
quarterback.
knees pop.
He will.
But here's the thing, the biggest thing. How do you go from, Joel, winning the Heisman Trophy, everybody got the band behind you telling you how great you are, to picking up your own bat and balls, carrying your own gloves, and riding the bus?
I don't know.
You ride first class now.
Yeah,
you don't ride for, I don't care how great a baseball player you are. You go to the minors, you ride the same Bluebird bus, the school bus, with some trailway, now that they took the trailway out the side. That's what you ride.
Tim Tebow is riding it because he was forced to ride it.
Yep.
Okay?
It's not glamorous. I can just tell you that right now. I mean, quick story. I know we don't have a lot of time. We were driving from Casper, Wyoming, back to Idaho Falls, Idaho, over the Teton Mountains. Our bus driver got tired, 3 a.m., pulled over in the shoulder of the road over the Teton Mountains, pulled out a pillow, and went to sleep because he needed a nap for 2 hours. Guess what we got to do? Nothing. Sit in the bus. Where else are we going to go? I mean, it's not a glamorous life. I will say, just quickly to go back to, you're right about height. There's no doubt. But that road is starting to be paved, and not just by Russell Wilson. I would say that there's 3 traditional knocks against a guy like Kyler Murray. You talk about the air raid system, you talk about young quarterbacks not generally having success, and then you talk about the fact that he's short. And all of a sudden, the last 3 seasons in the National Football League, what have we seen? All 3 of those get really knocked down. We've seen Goff, Mahomes, and Mayfield come in and light it up from the air raid offense. We've seen Darnold, Lamar Jackson, Trubisky, Mayfield, all these rookies and second-year guys have success. And then Case Keenum, I know he hasn't been great for the Broncos, but Russell Wilson, Drew Brees have at least paved the way, along with Mayfield, for guys 6 feet and under. Now, Murray's a little under that 5'10".
I got it.
But it's more reasonable now than it was 8 years ago.
I agree.
Okay, quick. What's the final score of Oklahoma, Alabama?
Final score, Oklahoma, Alabama. There's no way Bama scores less than 50 points. Wow, so I think it's 52-45.
Really? You're giving Kyler Murray 45 against St. Nick?
There's only one team that held OU under 39, and it's because OU only snapped the ball 40 times in that game. That was Army. You give Lincoln Riley the same amount of time to prepare for St. Nick as anybody else. I think that OU scores a minimum of 45 points. I just don't think they can stop.
Hollywood Brown, he's iffy at best.
They're the most balanced attack that I've seen in college football because they can do anything. Remember, Bama's defense plays so aggressive. In the interior of their defensive line, their linebackers, green dog blitzes, blah, blah, blah. Lincoln Riley's going to use that against them. I won't be shocked at all if OU has a halftime lead. In the last 3 games, Bama has been outscored 45-41 in the first half of football games. So watch out for OU early.
You're right. And let's hope Kyler has a game so he has all of these options if he has all the choices in front of him.
Good to have options, though, right?
He got options. He got 4.6. Just waiting. All you got to do is just sign your name.
Sit there for him. Good to see you. See you in San Diego. We have UFC President Dana White joining us next in studio. We're going to ask him about John Jones, Conor McGregor, plenty more next.